What's happening with it, world? It's your minds and them, the Toothless Wonder, back with another video. Ooh-wee, it's real in the battlefield, as I always say. But here's what I want to highlight today. Something we can all take note of as not just Babylonian culture here, but it's almost becoming dangerous to deal with other Negroes at this point. Even if we look at, the land initiative and what Newbury was attempting to do, by, I believe this was his intent to help bring in other YouTubers and their, respective audiences for the purpose of awareness, coming together, so on and so forth. And we see how that turned out. Fell out with Ringo. Mark distanced himself. Rollo allegedly attempted to set him up. You know what I mean? Anytime we try to make any kind of forward progress, not only socially, but even in our individual lives, we are just met with, obstacle, distraction, delay. It's amazing how when you try to go forward, like the crab in the bucket scenario, it's always something trying to pull you back. But if you stay amongst the crabs, outside the issues of being amongst crabs, everybody all right with you. It's insane. And, now I'm saying it more from a spiritual sense. You know what I mean? Because it makes no tangible, sense. Like, even when I was drinking or whatever, I hear a brother say, man, I'm ready to go back to school, woo to woo. I'm like, yo, that's what's up, yo. You know what I mean? Yeah, what for, cuz? Word, man, handle that, cuz. You know what I mean? I'm not, nah, you can't do that, man. You know what I'm saying? It's wild, right? But I was just saying, and I didn't click on any of the videos, just got a cursory general synopsis of the situation in which the Chicago rapper Lil Durk has been picked up by the U.S. Marshals allegedly for a murder-for-hire plot on another individual that ended up in self-defense shooting an individual he was associated with. Now, here's where, I guess this is what I'll title this: When Keeping It Real Goes Wrong, which will parallel a video I made called You Damned If You Do, You Damned If You Don't. The Negro man in Babylon is essentially, how's the word said, perplexed on all sides but not crushed. But it is tight. It's a tightrope walk in relation to Lil Durk. So he keeps it real. Allegedly, the individual, which I believe was a childhood friend, had did some numerous years in prison. I guess he kept it real. Gets out, was given $50,000 by Little Durk, just for keeping it real, I'm assuming, or just showing love. And this same individual wore a wire for years for the federal government. A childhood friend. I'm assuming, I'm just picturing in my mind somebody you shot marbles with, you know what I mean? You wrestled with, or whatever the case may be. And this is the individual that contributes to you taking a drop. That's got to hurt. If you can't trust a childhood friend, who can you trust? And I understand his logic in doing so. But here's the dilemma, though. Okay, you keep it real, but now you're in jail. But let's say he continues on his career and then distances himself from his former partners, or at the very least loosely associates with them. Now he's a sellout. Now you ain't keeping it real. Now you done turned the back on the hood after the hood done put you on. Again, you damned if you do, you damned if you don't. It seems as though if you're a black man in this country, and the Thinking Man's Templar talked about this, survivor's remorse. And we've seen it with like NBA players or sports figures, where you come up out the set, you get on, and then you put your homies on. And then your homies end up becoming detrimental to what you got going on, even though what you got going on is directly benefiting them and helping them, you know what I mean? But then as you proceed on, let's say you distance yourself, whatever. Oh, he Hollywood now. Oh, he ain't keeping it real. He don't come around no more. Again, you damn if you do, you damn if you don't. Even in my personal journey in recovery, on a much smaller scale, folk I started out with, shoulder to shoulder with, as I continue to strive, grow, and evolve, learn, just keep trying to be a better person. Those same individuals who weren't doing that in their own rate, in their own way, we had to naturally go our separate ways organically because they actually started becoming a hindrance. And I talked about that in the last video. But I always choose me. You know what I'm saying? And I just want to say, yo, there's nothing wrong for choosing you. At the end of the day, when you by yourself or looking in the mirror, that's all you left with. You and the Most High. You know what I mean? And this is such a abnormal social environment we find ourselves in. And I'll parallel because I just got another text message. It's insane, like, how we just hate to see each other do well. But then let's say we doing bad, then they talk about it. They're going to talk about you regardless. You know what I mean? It's the level of society and people's decorum, mentality, behavior is so demonic. You have to separate yourself, if for nothing else, to hold on to your sanity. I just caught a video from the brother Epic Mindsets when he was talking about 5 signs of someone evil. And for some, I was going to share it in my community post, but couldn't do it for some reason. And he hit the nail on the head in just personal relationships and the traits I'm seeing in people, to the point where it got me, like, not confused, but it's like I'd rather not deal with you. You know what I'm saying? The level of hypocrisy. Let's say I get text message, right? And they say one thing. They be like, I ain't say that. I show them what they said. Then they'll just say, oh, you took that out of context. All right, yo, I'm gone. You can't reason with these folk. You can't get these folk to comprehend. But if you're tied to them in business or in some type of personal relationship, it affects you. And they know it affects you. And they don't care. They don't care about how they look. They don't care about, you know what I mean? Just operating in just proper civility. I noticed this, right? And I felt like this about my man DC Mode, where it got to a point where he know he nothing, right? But he see me, show love, be there for him, whatever the case may be. in the effort of just encouraging the brother, because trust and believe, I get it, I understand, yo. And provide the man tangible, solutions or, whatever the case may be. And it got to a point where, in hindsight, because he has seen me strive, evolve, hit new levels or whatever the case may be, because he know he nothing, the only joy he could get is the fact that he's attached to me. And then started to, I guess, I don't think he consciously did it. I think it was a spiritual thing where let me attempt to disrupt what he got going on. Let me be a subtle distraction. Because I get off on the fact I know I ain't nothing. Here's this man striving to be something, and I can distract him. So that must mean I'm somebody because I'm able to distract someone who's striving to rebuild their lives. I had to cut him off. And what was starting to happen was, I think my spirit was perceiving something that my conscious mind hadn't caught up to yet. So like the last 2 or 3 times I pulled up on him, I got mad. And I'm thinking to myself, now I'm always checking myself. So I'm like, yo, I'm mad. Like, what, I'm hating on him? What, I think I'm better than him or something? Like, I start checking myself. Come to find out, my spirit was perceiving something that was about to take place, in the future. And my conscious mind hadn't picked it up. So, of course, I didn't take no joy in it, but I'll do stuff out of necessity. Because now, above all, like my freedom and, so on and so forth, peace is addictive. And people don't understand the value of peace if they haven't worked to obtain it. You know what I mean? And back to relate to, the little Durk situation. Now, granted, it was in the streets, the left-hand side of things. But I've seen the same type of tactics in the workforce, where people group up among some type of commonality, whether it be race or certain ideals or beliefs, right? But from the outside looking in, I can see the underlying jealousy. You see what I'm saying? I can see how this isn't really built on any kind of sound foundation of truly caring about the other person or other individuals within the social grouping. Everyone's using the social grouping, conniving, scheming to use the social grouping to level themselves up personally. And if you notice, especially in the black community, not even rappers or the hood, right? The average everyday black man has these stories of people he grew up with or friends that he's had these experiences with in life who they thought were whatever. And it's not like you fall out and you just go your separate ways. We're talking about they tried to sleep with their woman, or they plotted on or they plotted on them for money, or they fell out of a small bit of money. Like even like with people that I know personally or families, their families are in complete disarray. Folks are cooking out, getting together, drinking, cooking out, or whatever the case may be. And then they're almost coming to blows over food none of them bought. Whatever is truly inside of people, it now doesn't even take a detrimental situation. A small mishap and the perception of an opportunity that benefits the individual, and you will see the lengths that people are willing to go to destroy their friends. I'd actually rather be around people that I know don't like me, or we don't really have any personal kind of dealing. Because like I said in the previous video, we're in this season, excuse me, y'all, where your friends are actually more dangerous and have more hate for you than the ops. What they say, familiarity breeds contempt. But I don't understand, because that's never applied to me. Like, I've always wanted the best for anybody around me, even if I casually know you. You know what I'm saying? I don't get off on putting some move together to get me somewhere, knowing it's going to cause you, your family, you know what I mean, detriment and hurt and pain. Again, in this trauma-based culture, everyone's dealing with some level of trauma, even though I still think that's an overused word. But again, I guess that statement rings true, that hurt people hurt people. But it seems like nobody's really trying to heal. Everyone's using their hurts as a justification for their behavior. But if someone did the exact same thing to you, you feel justified in doing to other people, you wouldn't feel the same way. Again, back to finesse 2 times. It's cool when they do it. It's a problem when I do it. You know what I mean? It's crazy, yo. It's crazy, but, this is a part of, and I have to remind myself as well that this is a part of the walk. And this walk ain't easy by a long shot, Jack. You know what I mean? The spiritual warfare has ramped up to another level, seemingly. And like I said, in the projection, which I could equate to a epidemic level mental health crisis. That's what the Epic Mindset brother was talking about. Like how someone will project onto you what they're actually doing. Someone brought to like they keep saying I'm greedy. But in reality, it's the other way around. And you're fighting, like Epic Mindset said, you're not fighting for the child. You're fighting for the financial benefit that come with the child. If it wasn't no financial benefit, we wouldn't even have no issue here. Because you don't want to fool with them anyway. We're in this space, like the word say, where the natural affection of people has gone left. And I know I kind of paraphrased that. But the instinct of a mother's love. I can only speak on the black community more so. But they've constructed this society in a way with the belief systems and, whatever, where these women no longer care about their own children, yo. You know what I mean? In response is now the fathers are more empathetic. Because they have to be, to balance it out, I guess. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like living in the Twilight Zone. It reminds me of that dream I had when I was up on the hill trying to get away. And the kids had T-shirts on of mushroom clouds. And they were talking about how abortion was good. And I took that in real time to mean I'm not going to understand, fit into society. Now, even in small ways, I can see how the persecution of the church or believers, the groundwork is being set. Such as when I saw a clip of Camilla at a rally, and somebody shout out Jesus is Lord, and she responds with, "Oh, you're at the wrong rally." Like, the demonic level and activity is overt at this point. It make my skin crawl, like, ooh. Like, I don't even like society. It ain't nothing, like, I'd rather go in nature. Like, the other night I went to the park. I went by the water. It's a little marina here in town. And knocked out a rack of push-ups and just, vibed out on the set. You know what I mean? It's not that people tend to operate in paranoia, but your intuition is kind of like the same intuition to tell a goose or a duck to fly south for the winter. It's the same level of intuition, even though I can't always quantify it, that just has me on this, as we should be, on this set apart from the world. Because now we're seeing the illusion of the world, the trinkets of the world ain't real. And it doesn't provide any, what's the word I'm looking for? It doesn't provide any true fulfillment there, I say. That we see all this content about, individuals leaving the workforce because all their work isn't fulfilling. They're barely making it. You know what I mean? You see a plethora of, men more so just renouncing the whole dating culture because it's never benefit when they look back at it. I invested all this, and what did I get in return? You know what I mean? But pain, suffering, trauma. But in this system, and the system always comes collect. And again, back to the, little Durk scenario, where you'll get some instant reward, some benefit. Like if you're the proverbial Pookie or Ray Ray, you might, like Jigga Man said, you might got 99 problems, but a woman ain't one. But the level of women you deal with, then you wake up, one day 40, 50 years old, and you like, was it all worth it? Yeah, the ego and woo-da-woo-da-woo. But I was wasting my time. You know what I'm saying? And then when you perceive that, understand that, and start doing things that are more fulfilling, conducive to your soul and spirit, now here comes the world attempting to pull you back. Now when I read, verses about spiritual warfare and what have you, it's taking on a whole new level and context. You know what I mean? Now I see, when they would be in jail, Paul was in jail, and he would write letters to Timothy, encouraging him in the faith, because he knew what he was going through. Not a whole lot of support. The world against you. They want your head on a silver platter, and you ain't did nothing to them. You know what I mean? Oh, commercial break me, please. I done started my juicing. Now, yesterday I had the carrots, right? But this is the fresh apple juice. You understand me? I'm catching content about the value of juicing and whatnot. So I'm going to see what this do. Now, when I hit it, she's super sweet. But I get bing, you know what I'm saying? Now, I don't know if it'll work. They say it do, so I'll try it out. Like when I stop eating pork, there are benefits to stop eating, like, the land and sea scavengers and whatnot. But I couldn't really tell the difference. But I ain't got no taste for it neither. Try to get harmonious with thyself. I'm going a little sun up, sundown fast. You know what I mean? It just, because the weapons of our warfare aren't carnal, but they're spiritual. So right now, it's like I'm in a new level of the spiritual dojo on my path to obtain the glow and Bruce Leroy. You know what I'm saying? So I can take down what he believes is the show enough. You know what I mean? What I was thinking about too, as I just rap with y'all on here. There are a whole lot of messages in the music and the movies, but we were just taking it entertainment. Like The Matrix, that movie now takes on a whole new meaning in today's time. Or like when I just referenced The Last Dragon? Where Bruce Leroy, just regular, you know what I'm saying? He working on these skills. Then he gets styled on by the world, which is the show enough, at least he think that. But then he goes on this path to become him and to write things around him, you know what I'm saying, for the greater good. Then he got to take down the show enough and he get the glow, you know what I'm saying? I guess the glow would be, the Ruach Kodesh, right? Or the Holy Spirit. But it's a fight. You just don't get it. You got to go through trials and tribulations. Like Mark said, nobody's immune to the trials and tribulations of this world. You know what I mean? Just when you think you done hit pay dirt, here come the adversary out of left field with some old wacky wild stuff. So because I'm at a new level of this, I got to go to my Master Dojo manual and attempt to figure out what to do and not use my own wisdom and understanding. You know what I'm saying? Because the instructions are in the book. I just got to study the book to figure out how to respond. But just like in the recovery world, because from what they say, when you do new things, there's a certain level of uncomfortability, anxiety, nervousness, right? Even though you know you're doing it the right way, your brain has no memory of doing it. That's how you rewire your brain, by doing new things, such as how I got off drugs or whatever. I just started doing new stuff. It felt uncomfortable because I hadn't done it before. But now it's become a part of my lifestyle, you know what I'm saying? And I seek to continue to improve in various different areas. And like I said, and again, when I was talking about the New Breed Ringo situation, again, it's easier to critique something from the outside looking in. But can you still do the same thing when you in it? You know what I mean? When you feeling the heat. You understand me? So, in regards to my perk that I talked about last night or whatever, I just got hit with another crazy text message, right? So this is working on a new level of stoicism. Here, like I said, here's the temptation to run the next phase of my master camp offensive, right? But I don't think the Most High want me to do that. But the temptation is, 'cause I don't like people fooling with me. So can I endure and not get into ego, into carnality, into flesh? You know what I mean? Can I still remain humble while the attack is coming? While the false accusations are being levied? While the projection and the gaslighting goes up another notch? You know what I mean? And I have to, and I just remember this and saying this to y'all, how the spiritual warfare goes to another level the closer you are to a breakthrough. So he trying to get you, it don't matter, through the subtlety of distraction, your own feelings, my own justification. I feel justified in taking whatever lengths necessary to stop what's, being levied on me or whatever the case may be. And I probably am justified. However, what do I follow? My own intellect and justifications, or how the Most High in his word says I should handle this particular situation and be led by the Spirit, right? And we're all going to face these temptations at some point, if you're not already in it now, in your own personal way. You understand? It's real in the battlefield. You know what I'm saying? But it's all good. I'm all right. I'm in a decent place. And when I face whatever I face, typically it's draw me back to fundamentals, like I talked about last night. Like I'm ready to go. I got some little knicky-knack stuff doing the house, and then I'm going back to the park and do some pull-ups, get some sun. It's jai. It ain't too cold out here, Just max out, get harmonious with myself. You know what I'm saying? Because whenever something, I gotta go work it off me. Whether it's walking, I think I'll ride my bike down that joint. Because that's how I used to manage when I was in early recovery. I stayed dipping off somewhere at the park. Even if I just sit there and just marinate, come up with conclusion. Or a lot of times what would happen, and just doing that, how to move, it would just come to me rather than me actively thinking about it. And I faced a plethora of situations like that, you know what I'm saying, that revolve like, I would say disrespect, how I perceive it to be disrespect, you know what I mean? And a lot of times the individuals involved, which is crazy to me too, right? Because I'm the individual, not just in my personal life, but even like say at the job, right? I know where all the proverbial bodies lie at. It would make more sense if I know somebody got some dirt on me. The last thing I'm going to do is fool with them when I perceive they ain't seem hard off on getting jiggy with me. They've been chilling. But now I decide I'm going to F with them knowing they know all my dirt. So I guess that's where the public campaign against you, or, all the accusations that actually apply to them, but they try to levy it on you. But, like, as far as what people think, I don't even care about that. I care about what's really going on. You know what I mean? So it's just, it's a lot, but all things work for the good of those who love God and are called according to his purpose. Because ultimately, how can I say I'm truly this way? Like I said, this used to be my gripe, right? Where, people say, oh, you handle situations like this. I see them in the same situation. I see them do the complete opposite, which goes back into a video I made talking about practicing what I preach. Now I'll get on everybody else about not doing it. But do I do it when it come my time to show and prove? You understand me? Do my actions match my word? Or am I just like everybody else, just talking a whole bunch of yang, but don't live none of it? You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times, let's how they say, work out our own work out our own salvation with fear and trembling, and study to show ourselves approved. Because at the end of the day, I gotta check regardless of what happened, what's going on, or what's happening to me, I'm still held to a higher standard. You know what I mean? And that's the test as well, to get down and dirty with folk, to let them know I ain't to be played with or whatever. But technically, they be winning because I be stooping down to their level. Just like the word says, I'm paraphrasing, be careful not to give the adversary a foothold. So now, I'm tempted to operate in the flesh. At least that's what I think. I'm tempted to operate in my own wisdom and understanding. Because I do think I'm smart, though. But then on the other side, let's say, okay, and this is just my brain work, right? I lay back, I chill, I let it play out. Then I'm still giving the adversary a foothold, because now you can say, see, you letting them people play with you. You know what I'm saying? Or woo, right? So that's when I had to, instead of reasoning in my own mind or justifying stuff in my own mind, just like when Yeshua was tempted in the wilderness, he didn't argue with the devil. He just hit him with the word, rightly applied. And on that note, I'm going to holler at y'all. Ooh-ah!